Good day. My name is Eric, and today I'm going to be carving this bear to look like the bear in the corner here. I've only carved for about an hour total in my life, but it's always something I've wanted to do, so I'm giving it a shot. Why am I recording it? Well, I work for a company called domainagents.com, and I call a lot of people, I email a lot of people, and I'm trying to get through some of the noise. So I'm showing people that I am in fact a real live person. And this is just one of the things I get up to in the few minutes I have time. But I'm taking my lunch break today to do this, and I will post it later. So yeah, I have done an hour. As you can see, it definitely doesn't look like a bear just yet. But we are going to work our way through, so we'll see what we get done in an hour. And I'm going to try to do the whole thing on video. We'll see. Anyway, hopefully the sound quality is okay. And yeah, let's give it a go. This is also a little different because it's not live. I do have finger protection on. I'm using a very sharp knife that came with a kit. The kit is a Beavercraft kit out of the Ukraine, I believe. And it has 2 blocks of wood. So I've glued on a 3-sided kind of starter guide. Honestly, I don't really know how this thing's going to turn out, but it's kind of fun to do. It's a lot of work too, but it's fun. So I'm going to work on the head to start. I'm going to keep it in the camera as much as I can. I've set up a little box here to catch my shavings because I learned in the first hour that I was doing it is that there are a lot of shavings, and this is just a little cleaner to do. I don't know how the music quality in the background is going to be. I have some nature sounds going on. I would be playing music, but I want to post the video, and last time I posted a video it gave me all sorts of warnings. I would say don't try this at home, but I am trying this at home, so what I'll say is make sure you feel fairly confident with your cuts. My skill level currently is probably, negative something, but we all start somewhere. For about 6 years, I did work with tools. I used to install solar water heating systems before solar was as more common and popular than it is today. Not to age myself, but I started about 20 years ago in solar. I did it for 6 years. We are losing some of the face, but I guess we kind of have to. I'm cutting it here and back, and that the snout is going to be there, and then we'll trim out the sides, I think. I've also named this the Crash Course Bear for obvious reasons. I don't know if it's going to look anything close to the bear that it's asking me to carve, but it's fun. I'm not entirely sure how much this kit cost. It was a Christmas gift from my family because they knew I wanted to do this. So I gotta be careful not to cut myself. You may be watching this to see how quickly into this video I do cut myself. The goal is not to, obviously. But I don't want to get ahead of myself on my carving techniques. I'm very much cutting away from myself. kind of want to do this without watching a whole bunch of videos first for additional techniques. Because to be honest with you, the instructions that came with it, well, it does tell you where to start, right? It didn't actually give any specific techniques on, you know, how to hold the knife or good ways to get certain carves or certain designs into the wood, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now, they may have some video tutorials, but we might try that with the extra block. They gave us 2 blocks. But I was thinking with the second block that I might try it without the portrait on, without gluing the bear figure. Because I'll have a much better idea after the hours I put into this. I'm going to primarily work on the head today for this hour. I'd like to get the basic shape as much as possible in. I'll probably do a couple other things on video and live stream as well. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment, subscribe or follow or whatever it is people like to do. Trimming back the front here. We're going for the snout here to start. I might wear some gloves, to be honest. Or maybe get a way to hold this thing. Some grips. Also, if you have any recommendations on technique, I'll definitely take them in the comments. I currently only have the one knife. I am planning on doing the whole thing with the one knife, because that's the only tool they gave with it, right? So I feel like that's what I should use. They did give what do you call it? Sandpaper as well, so we will be sanding it later on. I'll be honest, I'm not staring at the camera as much here because I'm more focused on not cutting myself. But I feel like I need to have this camera pointed down a little bit more. It's very interesting thinking about it in a 3D, shape form. It's also interesting taking a knife to the smiling face face keeps smiling at me and I keep just trying to trim it back. Don't know how much longer that smile's gonna last. I will post a link to the kit because I think it's pretty cool. Just so you're aware, I'm not trying to sell you anything here. This is just what I'm using. Again, was a gift. So making some progress. Trimmed a bunch of its forehead. Kind of looks like ears to the start here, but the ears will be further back. I have done kind of a T shape here. Back here will be the ear and the ear. And then this is the top part, so the snout will come out here. And then this part up here will be kind of rounded out. I'm gonna have to be a bit more careful with my cuts back here. Which I guess we should start a little bit. Just get the basic shape. This requires a good amount of focus. Finger protectors are kind of slipping on it, which is a little awkward. I have some work gloves that would probably do a little better. You can see the shavings piling up there. Not the fastest, right? But you can see the progress, at least in the shavings. We're going to start the other side a little bit. Getting a bit of a better grip on this side. I think it's just the positioning. If you've watched this far, I commend you. Thank you. This is not my specialty. Gotta use some vice grips here to lock this in place. I'm gonna have to do a lot more controlled cuts once I get a little closer to where I want to set some details in stone, or wood rather. I might be shaking the table or camera as I do this. But just like cutting this, I will learn from the filming technique and adjust for next time. take out the eyes a little bit. Just feeling the knife, kind of instinctually kind of guide the blade as I feel it, if that makes sense. The eyes are disappearing. Trying to get it to go back a bit. Kind of a star shape at the top, it looks like. We're getting there. Gonna have to look into sharpening this knife. It came with a few tools, so I'll have to take a look at what the process is for sharpening. I feel like I shouldn't have to sharpen after 2 hours, but you know what? This is a new hobby to me, so I'll definitely look into it. I know in general, the sharper the knife, the better. Make sure my PPE is on properly. My personal protective equipment. Which is just protecting my fingers at the moment. I'm not really worried about anything going into my eyes, because I'm doing it away from myself. And I am aware where my first aid kit is, should I cut myself. I won't be mending any wounds on camera. The video would stop fairly abruptly. The first hour I did this, I did think I slightly nicked myself. It didn't bleed, but I definitely felt the sting. And I guess that's just because of how sharp the knife was. It wasn't that I wasn't doing anything, really unsafe. It's just the blade slid. I'm still kind of getting used to it. We got some rounding here. It's not the fastest process, right? All those hand-carved things you see. I'm sure they're faster than what I'm doing, but take a lot of time and effort. Okay, let's go on this side here a bit. Still getting used to this finger PP. Keeps sliding on me a bit. So let's trim here a little bit. Yeah, they show the head going in a little bit. guess that's because it's cheeks. Yeah, it's cheeks. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. The edges I can definitely get more, so I gotta be careful there. I don't want to take off more than I want. Let's try and take out between the ears a bit. I'm not sure. Do you notch it? Can you notch it? I'm gonna go a little lighter here. Try to. It's hard because like you're pushing to try and get anything moving, and then you start going hard. And it just flies through. Again, that's why we're not cutting towards ourselves. Keep wanting to. Feel like push in and dig a bit. Push in and dig a little bit. Not sure. Again, because I touch it, it starts moving. It wants to keep going. Tear this paper back a little bit so you can see. So it's hard, it might be hard to see here. I'm trying to just get in between here. This isn't where fine details are going to be, right? So I gotta practice a little bit where it won't be as noticeable. I was reading a Robert Munch book to my kids, and one of the stories, the grandfather was carving with a chainsaw, and I was like, well, that looks a lot easier. I'm sure it's not, but as I do this, I can't help but think about it, be like, how nice would it be for that? An extreme chainsaw. Tricky. How are you supposed to get? How are you supposed to get in there? Again, I'm trying to be extra safe, or rather just safe, with my fingers. Not to mention any cords I might have dangling around. I almost want to put the block down and like press into it, but I feel like I would just skim past it and it ding up my desk more so than it already is. Got a bit of traction here with a little bit of a turn. Do that in front of the box, easy like that. But it's not like the wood is soft, right? Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Doing the turn. I've switched my finger positioning so that I get more, like I'm pushing against the blade. Now my My finger's changing color here. Not because I've cut it, because I'm just pressing so hard into it. I wonder if that's going to bruise. Maybe I should put some of the safety tape on that too. Or maybe, you know what, maybe I'm just pressing too hard. Let's try that on the other side and see if that works. It doesn't feel as natural going the other way, so maybe the idea here would be to switch the block position as opposed to my finger position. Ooh, careful. I want this bear, see I just skimmed over. I landed on my finger there. Okay. That spot is not going the best. I feel like that's a knot in the wood. And the knots in the wood are harder spots. Not to make excuses, it's the wood's fault. Not my complete lack of skill. I'm curious how quickly that goes away from my finger. Saw the wood? Don't think so. That's not what this is about. Alright, we're gonna move on. So the neck here. This is what I did for the neck. Dug in and kind of twisted. Now I only started it. But we should probably go see if we can get something here. Longer cut. Don't have the most control with that. And I'll review the video and see if I can get a better setup so it's easier to see. Do the little twist. That's how I got the front neck part before I ran out of time. Go the other way. Oh, whole chunk, that felt way more productive. Might get this bear to have a bit of a neck today. I'm gonna tell you, I mean, as much as there's, you know, an outline of what this bear, the goal of the bear is to look like. Feels nice just knowing that, you know, every little thing I do kind of makes this bear unique. It's also a lot of work. Hoping this relaxing, naturey music in the background doesn't trigger any violations, because there is, I guess, some orchestral music, acoustics playing, which I don't recognize, but I'm sure something could. prefer to play something else that I'm more likely to listen to, but I do like instrumental. Giving this bear a neck. Crash course bear. Doing time here. Good, I got more time to carve. I was thinking I was going to spend my whole lunch on this. I might stop at 30 minutes. I kind of want to see what happens with my thumb here and the constant pressing in. We'll keep going for now. If you've come this far, I gotta keep going. I love working with domain names. I absolutely love it. But I do miss working with my hands. Typing, calling people is not the same thing as, not the same sense of accomplishment. It's nice to have something kind of physical sometimes too, you know? That being said, I do plan on some of my lunch sessions to be building some websites. Nothing commercial, just kind of fun. I think there's enough websites out there that are, just trying to make money. Which is, most of them. I'd kind of just like to play around with it. I think there's a lot more stuff that can be done. And I'm sure there's a ton out there, just I don't have time to find it, and I want to mess around with it for fun. Kind of like the carving. So here's the obligatory follow, subscribe, click, I don't know. I'm sure I will, in a stream or two, figure out how to add a button in, and I can plunk it in, make it easier to remind you. I'm not trying to make this bear anatomically correct. We might get tired at one point and say, that is what its neck is going to look like. I'm really curious to try and work on some of the finer details. Just barely all the way around the neck. We trimmed back the eye spot a little bit. So the eyes would be right here, right here. I would like to do more up here, it's just the cut is not working how I want it to. There's no rushing this, which is nice. Definitely have a bunch of other ideas about things I'd like to carve. I have 2 daughters, and I'm sure they would like a horse or a unicorn carving of some sort. Whether it looks like a horse or a unicorn, I don't know. But I think it would be fun to try. Almost went too far there. We came close. I can tap my skin. Alright. I was trying to get a bit of shape here for the potential arms. You can see here this cut. This cut across is where my knife slid. And again, I can kind of feel it, but did not break all the way through. We're going to count ourselves lucky there. I do not recommend children try this. Unsupervised, at least, I should say. I think with the right PPE and I don't know the age, but with the right maturity, the right setup, maybe not distracted with with the camera in front of you. Okay, we're gonna get a bit more up here. See the wood pile still building. Doesn't look as good now in my video. I think it's going underneath this part. Rounding at the top. Like, when do I start sanding? Sure. controlled cut here. I mean, as much as every cut's a controlled cut, I'm trying to push with different thumbs and stuff. Get some pressure behind it. These finger grips are cutting off a bit of the circulation of my fingers. Getting a bit more shapely over time. It is not a fast hobby. For an amateur. Interesting. I just kind of did like a little round cut. Crash Course Bear. You're gonna look interesting. You might not look like the average bear. You can't cut that way. You know, I'm trying to cut a 3D image, right? But I have a 2D template, or rather the image on the box is 2D. Let's quickly consult the user's manual. Carve around the ears. Looks like they use a lot of pencil. So I guess I should be marking this a bit more. So it's like they cut off the picture. And this is a handy guide. I've been ignoring it just for this this recording. But here you can see, this is the ears. And it looks like they're pressing down. Also, look at this, they got measuring stuff back here. Alright, let's try these ears again. Okay. So I see in the image on the ears, it looks like they are pressing it down, like onto the ground, which kind of makes sense, right? If you gotta dig into it. So let's try that. I know you won't see this here, but I gotta try this for a second to see. Do you like notch it? Like it literally just says carve between the ears. I'll try notching it a bit. Carefully cut the ears. I'm being careful, maybe. So I've just tried to put a few notches. I think they're too far apart to be really useful. Do a notch in between the notches. I'm being very deliberate in where I place my hands. So, you can see I made more notches there. Does that help? I swear I'm cutting a knot in this wood. Very careful. Avoid my instincts to cut towards myself. I tried twisting on my notches here. No cut. Do the supervised, people. Know where your first aid kit is. So now I'm actually kind of doing it towards myself, so probably I should have goggles on. So let's adjust again. Tear this paper off a little bit. So you can see, ignore down here, but try to get some space in here. This is the knot I'm talking about, this darker part here. I've been trying to cut into that. I don't know if it's stopping me, or if I'm just making up excuses. We are... Okay, well that kind of seesaw motion kind of worked there. Let's try that some more. Ooh, okay, interesting. I'm keeping the knife still and I'm moving the block now. Let's try that. That seems stupid. Alright, I take it back. But we are kind of carving in between his ears. Not sure still what the end game is in this section. I should probably think this through a bit, because I'm starting to get a round motion here, right? Which would be the back of the bear's head. You know, some of these details we can sort out with sanding over time. But it would be nice if our final product was halfway decent for our first ever attempt. I'm gonna need to wrap up soon because I'm gonna have to spend some time tidying up a little bit. And you might be hearing from me because I have to make a whole bunch of phone calls and emails. Real person here, again, just in case you were watching this, to confirm, because I've emailed you to inform you I'm a real person. You know, I called someone the other day, and I bluntly asked them, "Are you a real person?" And they very much were. I felt kind of bad. But their voice was like too perfect. Like it was just so smooth. The words just seemed so perfectly spaced out. Like, you know, and they said they get that all the time, but I still felt bad. But you know, we're gonna get that more and more and more. Not that there's anything wrong working with an AI or a bot. as long as it's represented, right? Well, I feel like we kind of made some progress on those ears there. I mean, might not show up perfectly on camera, but there is space between those. So I'm gonna try and get a little closer. I'm gonna notch it, I think. So I'm putting it down flat. Get some pressure. Because if I'm cutting towards it, I want it to stop when I get there. Okay, notched a bit. Trying to do some easier movements to it. My ears might not look exactly like the picture, and I'm fine with that. I'm not convinced their bear that you can see in the top right corner is, you know, what a bear looks like. Oh, my alarm is going off here. That is my warning that I need to get going. And you know, the nice thing is that I don't want to stop. I mean, my finger's a little sore, not gonna lie. So that's the dent. I think I need some sort of thimble or glove to improve that a bit. But other than that, no cut just yet. Approximately 2 hours of carving today. Well, no, it's probably fair to say an hour and a half with the setup time. So, appreciate if you've happened to have stayed this long. I commend you. I appreciate it. Follow, subscribe, do your thing. I will attempt to I'll attempt to find the time at least once a week. I will aim to do this live one lunch a week. And when I finish this, I'm open to suggestions on what to carve next. But I do think this is going to be a several week project, just for only having an hour. I haven't touched anything down below. Alright, I'm mainly focused on getting the outline up here so you can see the ears, right? They're kind of something. A bit of a dent here, a bit of a dent in here. So I think I gotta go more in here, more in here, and then trim this side back a little bit more. I'll have to take out the pencil like I saw in the drawings. What do you think? Here, let's put it side by side, right? 90 minutes of work. My hand's a little sore. But I think that's a success. Alright. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully the video quality is halfway decent.